I'll just start your recording and you can start your meeting. Because Bob is here, he just happens to be on the attendee side. Maybe if I move him this way, he won't have video this way, but at least he'll be able to talk to us.
Oh, good.
He's on mute though at the moment. So Bob, if you hear us, you can unmute yourself. He's on the phone and not able to do that. I'm not sure. I don't think I can unmute him myself. No, I can only ask him to unmute. Up to you. You can start, Patrick, if you want to.
All right, very good. Good evening, everyone. Oh, Bob, are you with us?
He is, but he seems to be muted.
Yeah, it's Bob. If you can hear us, it appears as though you're muted. If you could unmute somehow, I'm not sure if you're on a phone or on a computer. All right, well, Bob, we're going to proceed and start the meeting. Good evening, everyone. It's January 12th, 2022. We'll bring the January meeting of Little Compton Housing Trust to order. The first order of business this evening is to approve the minutes of our last meeting, which took place on November 10th, 2021. I expect that everyone had a chance to review those minutes. Does anyone have any discussion in that regard? Would someone like to propose a motion to accept those minutes?
I'll move that we accept the minutes.
Second.
Actually, Bob Rotman is calling me on the phone right now. Excuse me 1 second. Hi, Bob. How are you? It's the most recent email that came through from Carol. I think it was yesterday, perhaps, or the day before. Yeah, that was yesterday. Yep.
Does he need another one sent to him? I can do that.
Okay. We'll look forward to seeing you. Thanks, Bob. Bye-bye. Very good. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right. Thank you for your patience, everyone. It appears as though Bob will be joining us by phone and momentarily anyhow. So we do have a motion to accept the minutes from the November 10th meeting. Was that seconded?
Second.
Very good. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Just state for the record, it was unanimous, with the exception of Bob not being able to vote.
Very good. He was not present at that November 10th meeting in any event. I don't know how that would impact it, but that being the case, the second order of business on tonight's agenda is the treasurer's report. Andrew, I'll turn that over to you if you'd like.
Okay. We did not meet last month, so I will just quickly go over both months' reports for both the month of November and the month of December, because we kind of lag a month behind because he does all the accounting at the end of the month. So for the month of November 2021, the trust had revenue of $4,002.40 and expenses of $4,500 to Housing Works Rhode Island, making the balance of the trust $167,734.90. For the month of December, the trust had revenue of $2,167.20 and no expenses. And so the balance at the end of 2021 was $169,902.10. So that's where we are currently. I think December was a pretty slow month in terms of new building permits and fees. It was the slowest month we've had in a while, so it's not surprising, but that's where we are at the moment. And yeah, I mean, we're in pretty good shape. You know, we had that $4,500 expense in November, and that's about it so far. So anyone have any questions?
I think I'd just like to point out that that payment made to Housing Works Rhode Island was not the entirety of our contract with them, but based upon our previous meetings and votes, it was a partial payment. So there will be, I believe it's another $2,000 or thereabouts still due to Housing Works Rhode Island upon completion of the survey and the dissemination of the information.
I don't think we need any.
All right.
Or no, that's it.
Yeah, very good. So the third order of business tonight is to approve the mailer and the design for the mailer, any expenses and social media content regarding the survey. Isabel, if you would be so kind as to take it from here, I would like to thank you, Isabel, for the work you've put into the graphic design and the layout and the content in this regard. So if you'd like to explain anything further, the floor is yours.
Sure, thanks. So I sent out an email to everybody with a few things in it. There's a press release, which is very brief. So that would go to Secaunet Times, probably just Secaunet Times. I think that's probably the only relevant paper. That's my suggestion, at least. We can vote on that. And then there's basically like a version of the image that's formatted for a Facebook post, one for an Instagram post. And then there's the postcard. And on the postcard is a QR code, which links to the survey. And also there's a link, that someone could type in. The survey link's also on the website, the town website, under the Housing Trust information. And I also included in that email just like a little block of text that someone could use. So my thought with this, we don't have Facebook or Instagram, and I'm not really suggesting that we start having it. It's annoying, but some of our friends in the community have it. So basically it would be something we could just email to people and say, would you mind sharing this? Like, I don't know, the community center might put it on their Facebook page or something. And then the same thing with the email. We don't have an email list, but other community organizations do, and they might, there's just like a little blurb of text that I'm suggesting that we give them and say, if you wouldn't mind adding this into your next newsletter, then they'll have some content to stick in there for us. And, they might do it or not do it. That's what that stuff's for. And then I also have some numbers about the postcard. Nothing should cost any money except for the postcard. And so the postcard, from what I have, let me get you an exact number. So we can look at the design. I can change anything if anything, and it's probably good to just double check that I didn't, misspell something, or I'm not so good with that stuff. And then the money thing would be maybe a second thing. So maybe should we do the design stuff first and then the money stuff second?
Seems to make sense. Yeah, sure.
You want me to share my screen with the email you sent, or no?
Oh, that'd be great. Yes.
Okay, is that all right?
Yeah.
Carol, am I able to do that?
I'll then make you a co-host so you can.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Can everyone see that? Is that the right one?
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Good.
So that's either Facebook or Instagram. The Facebook and the Instagram are almost the same. The colors are a little different and the like aspect ratio is different, but they, I think, pretty much say the same thing. And then that's the postcard that you just highlighted.
Hold on. I can open up the postcard and share it. Okay, sorry. Let's share the postcard. And there we go. All right. You can all see the postcard?
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think you did a really good job, Isabel.
Thanks.
My only question, which applies to all of these, is if people have questions, I don't know, maybe we put something on the survey of how to contact us or send questions or whatever. You know,
Yeah,
if
we
they
can do that.
just say, well, who's the housing trust, or where's the housing trust, or what is it, or if they're doing the survey and they just say, you know, why are you asking me this, or whatever.
So add the email address. Would that be the best way to do that?
I would think so. And
Isabel, did you,
then we can get back to any folks who have concerns or whatever, rather than just letting it go and
That's a good idea.
making it more of a problem, maybe.
oh, sorry, Claudia has her hand up.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Isabel, if we were going to send this to a group that we know of in town, which of these things would we send to them to
I
include in the news?
would say everything except for the postcard, I think. I can make a little email that's easy to forward. I mean, it's basically what I sent just without the postcard attached. I mean, you can, I just think the postcard might be confusing to also send to them, but we could send them, and the press release, sorry. I'll format an email that's easy to forward. That would just be like, here's the information to put into an email, and we've attached something for Facebook and something for Instagram. And then
Okay, great.
they could
So
then use,
would I cut and paste it or just forward it?
you could probably just forward it. I'll send a new one after this meeting that's
Okay.
forward, easy to forward.
Thank you. You're so good at this.
Oh, thanks.
Isabel, did you do this?
I did.
Oh, wow, it's great.
Yeah, you can see the nice autumn leaves when we thought maybe we'd get it out.
It's a little out of date.
But they still-
Adam was like, are you gonna repaint it with snow? And I was like, no.
No, they still look good, but you know,
It looks cozy, like a home should be, you know?
yeah.
I think it's terrific. Can we have a motion to accept this graphic and the language as it's presented? I guess if that's in order.
With Sue's corrections.
Adding the
Additions.
email address. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll make a motion to accept the design with email addresses added.
Second,
All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
I,
Do you hear me?
yeah,
Okay.
We got
aye.
you, Bob?
Yeah.
All right. So let the record show that would be unanimous.
great. Okay, so then the next thing is that to send it out, it looks like if we just put that on the postcard, it says to our friends and residents of Little Compton. With the, basically I forget what it's called. There's a name of a way that you send a postcard where it just goes into every postal paste, every mailbox in town. That's the cheapest and easiest way
Every
to do
postal
it.
patron, yeah.
Yeah, and then we don't have to put addresses on it. It just says that on it. And that is 2,701 mailboxes. And so with the printing and the postage, that would cost $1,056.33. I think it's 33 cents a piece to send, and then the printing is $165. And that's that would print out 3,000 postcards, which means that we'd have about 300 that we could would be extra, and you could stick like a little stack of them in the art cafe or Simmons or Earl's or something. So if someone was just walking by, they could grab it. Going from 27 and 1 to 3,000 print wise is not that expensive, so I think it's worth printing a few extra. And then we only pay for the postage of the ones that we send out. So the total, what did I say before, would be 165 plus 891.33. So $1,056.33 would be the total cost for the printing and mailing.
You got the quote for the printing.
Oh, I got that quote from Express Printing in Fall River. We don't have to use them, but that's just a printer I know that is reliable, and
Okay,
we don't have to use them, but that's
It's-
a number.
okay, all right.
I thought you had said 1,056 plus the printing, or is that included?
No, that includes the printing.
That includes the printing.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was $165 for printing and $891.33 for postage.
Okay, good.
Question.
My only question on that is, are we producing enough? If we want to do a second mailing to get more response? Or would we need to change maybe we'd need to change our messaging if we did a second mailing?
That's a good question.
That's a good point.
How much would it cost her incrementally to add? How much per 100 to add additional printings?
The printing was, I don't know the answer to that. The printing was 165 for 3,000. So I can find that out, but I don't know the answer.
It's probably a good part of the setup, so it would be worthwhile to add another 100 or 2 or 300. Like like Susan said, it's the incremental cost. I would think of just another 500 might make it a good bargain. Leading around, maybe leaving Wilbur over the summer, and maybe walkers during the summer. I mean, that's once you got them printed, it's just a matter of course to put them in different places that might come to mind as during the year.
How many extra would you want?
Anybody got an idea? 500. I would think 500 wouldn't be that much money, right? What do you think?
Oh, one noteworthy item here might be the fact that we do have to make this a finite time frame within which the survey is out there.
Oh, okay.
So I think Susan just sort of alluded to the idea that we may have a secondary mailing at some point in time, but the message may change on that secondary mailing,
Okay, yeah. So this wouldn't carry into the summer then?
I think that we can discuss that tonight, and we have in some previous meetings, but I think we need to keep in mind that we don't want this to go on indefinitely.
Okay. And then that extra printing wouldn't make much sense then, without a summer crowd to distribute it to.
We could do some extra though, and still put them at like Wilbur's and Commons
Yeah,
Lounge.
this does give us, what did I say? 3,000 minus.
It's about 6 cents a piece at $3,000.
It gives us 300 extra postcards in addition to the ones that are sending to the mailboxes. So we'll have 300 to put around. I could bump it up to more than that if
Yeah,
you
you
want.
could check with the printer. It may be minimal charge to, go 4,000 or 3,500 or whatever. If it's not that much, then maybe we should, because I think if people see it more than once, it might come in the mail and they ignore it, but then they go out for groceries and they see it, or go out for coffee and see it, and then it might make them think, oh, this is real, it's everywhere. I'm seeing it everywhere. I think I better fill it out.
Okay,
point.
I could bump it up to 3,500.
Also, just bringing up your design again, did you have the QR code on the, we could turn one of the Facebook or Instagram ones into a poster we put, or like a small sheet that you can put up at, the different shops in town. And someone could just take their phone out and scan it.
Yeah, we could definitely do that.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So if we want to put it up to 3,500 and you want to approve that number, we're going to have to estimate the difference. I didn't get that quoted out. So give me a second. So
What's your number now?
the number right now is, what did I say? I keep doing it on the iPad.
1,056.
Sorry?
Oh, for money, yeah.
The current number is $1,056.33. That's for printing and postage at 3,000. And I would estimate that divided by.
May I suggest we authorize you to spend $1,500, and then you can use your judgment when time comes, instead of trying to back into it. That's not a lot of money.
Is there a motion in that regard?
I put it in some. I make a motion that we authorize Isabel to spend $1,500, the particular printing and distribution.
Yeah, should we word that motion that it's not to exceed
Yeah,
1,500?
that's good.
So then they can just give her leeway.
Great.
Yeah,
That's great.
It gives you some some leeway in case you find you have a good cutoff point. You can always make a decision at the spot.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Yeah, then I don't have to.
I'll second that motion.
It's $14.99. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those in favor of a motion to enable Elizabeth to spend up to $1,500 for postage and printing on this mailer?
Aye.
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 Aye. Oh, sorry.
Unanimously in favor. All right. Very good. Moving along. Is there any more discussion with regard to that mailer or the graphics? Anything else?
Part of, I don't know if this pops up elsewhere in the discussion, but it's just the timing of the mailer, when we would send it out, when we would expect a response, how long we'll keep the survey open.
The deadline, what's the deadline?
I can get the mailer out real fast. That printer, they usually turn things around within a day or two. So I could get that mailed out like within a week, I think. I don't know. I'd love to just
Get it
send
gone.
and then we talked about maybe releasing the social media and email stuff after, but it might take people a little while to post it. So I don't know. I sort of feel like we should just do it ASAP. That's my suggestion.
Do we want to include the summer residents? Or no?
It will go to every mailbox.
Yeah,
And my feeling is that most of the summer residents probably have their mail forwarded,
oh,
I would imagine. So I think it will reach them.
okay. Is that what the post office says? I mean, I
ask
wonder
the
if that's
post office
true.
that. I don't know. I can ask.
Okay.
And how soon do we want folks to respond?
We didn't put a date on it. At one of the previous meetings, we talked about putting a date on it. And the discussion that we had said was that maybe it's better to just invite people to respond to it. Hope that we get like a critical number, and Housing Works said that they will be able to, they did give us a number that they had hoped we would reach, which I think was around 300. And then I think that's where the conversation about the second mailer came up, where we said, like, if we're not getting those kinds of numbers, then maybe we send out a second mailer that has a deadline on it. But for now, maybe just advertising the survey, and trying to do our best to get as many people to do it as possible. I would also like recommend that we let our friends and family know. Because I think if a friend reaches out and says, I'm part of this group and we're trying to do this project, people are more likely to follow through with it. But I think we had talked about not putting a deadline out quite yet.
Sorry.
And so if we waited for a month or two and then just see how many responses we have, then we could decide about sending out an additional mailer encouraging people to participate at that point.
Sorry to jump in, just to Sue's point earlier, since we've already discussed the mailer, but and kind of following up on your point is about like making sure our friends know about this. Would it make sense to have like our names as trust members on any of the material that we put out there, at the very least online, like on the website portion, just so like people can associate names with the organization and know who's, know who's putting this out there? Because I think that might help too. Like if I saw something that came by me with Patrick's name on it, I'd be like, all right, fine, I'll do it.
I'd be kind of skeptical.
Do you want that on the postcard, or it is on the website, but it's not on any of these materials, so I can add it to anything if people want it added.
Now that we've already
I'm not
approved
crazy
it.
about the idea. I'm not crazy about
I mean, I think if someone has an inquiry, information is readily available.
Okay.
I agree with the concept of what you're saying, and name association with a small town can go a long way. But I guess my personal opinion would be, somebody's interested in find out who we are, they can find out.
We can at least put it on like through the link, or it's on the website, so that's fine.
I don't know if anyone else has a feeling on that.
I like Andrew's idea. I think the name recognition is just a good idea. Right away, it will make you want to do it if you know somebody that's on the committee.
I don't feel strongly about it in either direction, so.
Yeah, I'm feeling like it might be a little bit complicated putting it on the postcard and whatnot, just, maybe too much information, but I think it absolutely should be, very apparent if they go on the website or go to the town site on the Housing Trust, they'll see who the members are.
Yeah, that's why I kind of hesitated suggesting it, because Isabel's put a lot of work into it, so I don't want to edit the postcard too much now that we want to send it out, but at least putting it on the website and maybe on the landing page for the survey or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't mind edits, by the way. It's fine.
I
It is on the
agree.
website. It's not on the
Yeah.
landing page for the survey right now.
Maybe we can put it on there too. Or
Yeah,
can-
I can ask Annette if they can just put like Little Compton Housing Trust trustees and then the names.
Perfect.
I'm thinking notes.
sounds good.
Sometime.
Do we have to move to do that? Make a motion? Do we have to make a motion to do that edit?
I'm not sure that it's entirely necessary. I mean, I think it's just a matter of putting public information on the survey. I guess it wouldn't hurt if somebody wanted to make that motion, we could vote on it.
All right.
I'll let you know ahead of time, I'm going to vote against it, so it's not going to be unanimous, I promise you.
All right, I'll make the motion to include our names on the landing page for the survey.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll vote aye as well, yeah. So let the record show we have 4 in
You didn't ask
favor
who's
and
opposed.
1 against.
Did you ask who's opposed?
4 yeas, 1 nay. Bob, you said, you indicated that you were gonna object?
Yes, that's correct. And not only object, but vote against it as well, right?
Okay. All right. All right, I think we can move on from the mailer and the survey. Again, thanks to Isabel for all the work you've done in this regard. The next item on our agenda tonight is potential
By the way,
properties.
moving forward, do you plan to put Matt's name on there? Because Matthew has been rather an inactive member. Do you want to? You might want to touch base with him to see if he wants to be identified online before you do it. He's officially a member, but he hasn't been here. You know, he's more in absentia more than anything else. You might want to run by it and tell him, "Oh, by the way, Matthew, you're putting your name in the public forum." He might not like that idea. You should run it by him.
That's a good point, Bob. That's a good point. I will reach out to Matt Ladd via email and determine whether or not he's still on the housing trust. I mean, his name still appears on the website, the town website. I haven't received any letter of resignation from him. So I will reach out to him, and Isabel, I will be in touch with you as soon as possible.
Great.
Then the question comes in, if he says no, then what names will be on there then?
Everyone's but his.
Okay, then that being the case, I raised the issue since I voted against it. Would you also leave my name off?
Yeah, well,
Sorry?
Well, we're all part of the trust.
Sorry?
All our names are currently on the town website. So this is a motion just to put it on the survey landing page. So it's like list the trustees. Just to want to make sure that that's what we're all talking about. Okay.
Let's see what happens. You can talk to Matthew first.
okay. I'll reach out to Matthew and I'll be in touch with him.
Moving on.
All right. Item number 4 on our agenda tonight is identifying any potential properties that might be good for affordable housing opportunities. I don't know if anyone has anything that they've seen lately.
House on 9 Crandall has still got the for sale sign up.
Yeah, and they've now done.
It's listed at
Oh, they've increased the price.
It's listed at $265,000. Yeah.
Okay, so they increased the price. So that puts it out of the ballpark for us.
Yeah, I was wondering if anybody had any information about the property on East Road. That not the East Repair, but the other property with, you know, the farm and the silo and whatnot. Anybody know anything about it? Other than the
So-
listing?
I know the listing price, which is definitely out of our budget, but I don't know anything else about that.
It's this is 119 East Main Road. It's directly to the south of Little Compton health. I want to say health center, but it's not the Little Compton Health Center. It's the Little Compton
Wellness center.
Wellness.
the wellness. Thank you. Yeah, directly to the south of that. It's a 9.2 acre parcel, I believe, and it's listed at $885,000. The property, as I seen it, I believe it's a raised ranch. I think it only has 2 bedrooms. There is a separate building, I think 2 separate buildings, one of which is a concrete block former basement of a dairy barn. And then a separate concrete block building behind that was probably a milk shed. So I think it's those 3 buildings, and it's 9.2 acres, listed at $885,000.
So what made me kind of interested.
I don't know any.
Was that it had so much acreage. I mean, if you split off the house, don't know what the value of the house maybe could become an affordable single family home. And then there's a lot of acreage there. And I don't know what kind of conditions are there. I don't know much more about it than that, but just to think about it, it might offer some potential.
Yeah, it's in a good location.
Yeah, it's great.
I think, as most properties nowadays, it's the price that really sets it apart. And it would be wonderful if we could make contact with a property owner who's willing to work with us to acquire a piece of property. And again, as we've discussed, that process would likely involve a town meeting of some sort, either a special town meeting or the annual financial town meeting, in order to approve such a purchase.
Patrick, could we have to ask to get that approved before we even approach the owner to ask if they would work with us?
I suspect that we would have to have approval before we could make an offer on a piece of property, Claudia. So I think because it's listed with a real estate broker, any of us might be at liberty to discuss a property with a listing agent. None of us independently would be able to speak on behalf of the trust, but certainly any of us could identify themselves as a member of the trust and inquire on a piece of property that might be listed in the MLS or listed for sale.
Would we be allowed
But
to say
I think
that
to answer your
we're-
question, Claudia,
Would we be allowed to say that we're expressing interest on behalf of the trust?
I don't think you could say on behalf of the trust, but I think you could identify yourself as a member of the Little Compton Housing Trust.
Okay.
I need to clarify one thing. If the trust has a viable piece of property and an owner that's willing to sign some sort of an agreement that it's contingent upon a financial town meeting approval, you could negotiate with someone to potentially purchase their property, but it would just be contingent upon the financial town meeting.
That's an excellent point. Yeah. And I suspect also before this body would engage in any sort of contractual agreement, as you mentioned, we would want to have it reviewed at least by the town solicitor, if he would be so willing. Any other pieces of property that anyone has seen around town that might be worthy? All right. Hearing none, we'll move along to item number 5 on this evening's agenda, which is with regard to the Charter Review Commission, presently looking over the town charter. And I don't know if anyone has any recommendations for that Charter Review Commission. It's sort of ongoing. Carol, correct me. This is a multi-year process.
Well, it is, but they're winding down. They're getting to the point where
Okay.
they're gonna figure out what they're gonna make the recommendations and send them to the town council. So if you want us to suggest something, you need to do it like now.
Do you know what their deadline is, Carol?
Well, they have to have it approved by the council and referred to the Board of Canvassers before the end of June. So I believe that the Charter Review Commission is hoping to wind down their process of review and decide on what they're going to recommend during the month of March even.
Okay,
Because they're trying to get ahead of the time frame of when other approvals need to happen.
I've written
Oh,
to
sorry, go
them
ahead.
and haven't heard from them. So should
They
I just,
received it. I don't know that I don't go to all of their meetings, so I don't know what the conversation was, but I know they did receive your email.
oh, okay, great. Thanks.
What is the process for us recommending a charter review change? Should we just write something and send it to them, or should we invite one of them to our meeting, or should one of us go to one of their meetings as a representative?
Generally, what's been happening is whatever board or town official has a recommendation, they write something and send it to them. And then at the meeting where it's going to be discussed, someone shows up to discuss it with them.
So I think the spirit of what we're talking about is that we've discussed in the past, seeing if we could remove the town meeting requirement from property acquisitions and have it be, instead of a town meeting, just be town council approval.
There
So,
has already been that suggestion made. I brought that to them because I
Okay.
know that your hands are tied. So I know that at minimum is being considered by them. Whether or not that is successful for a recommendation, but it has been considered. I'll write myself a note to send you what they have at the moment that they're considering.
okay.
But
I
it
think
might
it would
help
be-
that we reinforce that by saying as an organization that we're requesting something similar.
I also think it would be great to have it on an agenda and have at least one of us go to that meeting. Just to put a face to the,
Right. They have a meeting that's coming up on the 19th. That will
It's
be
the
by,
third Monday of every month. That's what we were told, the third Monday.
they go, if I remember correctly. I haven't got a calendar in front of me, but it's a special meeting night. And so I would suggest that if you want to attend that meeting, I can send you Zoom invites so that, or at least the invitation, so that you know what the numbers will be to join the meeting, because you won't be panelists, you'll just be attendees. And then that way you can listen to their discussion and interact if you want to.
could I make a motion that we send a communication to them to make sure that Housing Trust is on the agenda for that meeting, so that one of us can speak to them?
Let me look, because their agenda is already posted.
Oh, it is. They don't post their agenda 48 hours before the meeting like I do?
Nope, they tried to do it a little bit farther out so people can.
Well, we could send them a communication saying, that we, are recommending a change, that rather than a town meeting, that we can acquire property with authorization from the town council, given the practicalities of, real estate and trying to acquire a property. And if they're already considering something like that, well, Carol, if you can send us whatever language you sent them, then we can kind of look at that to try to make sure we're consistent. But if we send something from the trust, if we made a motion tonight to send a communication to the Charter Review Commission to that effect, then they may put it on the agenda or consider it as part of their discussion without,
It's
having to
already
be
on their agenda. So
on the agenda. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that might be helpful.
Sorry,
But-
Carol, did you say that Housing Trust is on the agenda?
Pardon me?
Did you say that Housing Trust is on their agenda?
If you look on
Oh,
the
great.
Secretary of State's website for the Charter Review Commission, it is under category number 4, which is a work session to discuss several sections, but one of them is the Housing Trust.
Oh, great. And that's on the 19th of this month?
Yes.
Okay, great.
It's a
will-
week from tonight, right? Wednesday.
Okay, January 19th. So how do we get an invitation to that Zoom? Or,
I can forward you the email and not the email, the agenda. And in the agenda, it has, if you wanted to type it all out, the URL, it's pretty long. But it also has the meeting ID and passcode. It's just as easy to join the meeting and put those 2 sets of numbers in than it is to type out the long URL.
yes,
So I can forward that to you.
so that'll be a link, right?
Well,
just
the links that aren't active in a PDF, which is what it will be when I send it to you. So if you wanted to use that, you can't copy out of a PDF for that. You'd have to retype it. The best bet is to go to zoom.us, say join meeting, and just type in the meeting ID number and the passcode number. And
Okay,
that'll get you right in.
great.
Carol,
Yeah.
how big is that document?
It's not huge. It's a
Is
page,
it?
longer than a regular
Okay.
page.
I happen to have an Adobe package that will let me convert PDFs to Word, if it'll help anybody.
Well, if you want me to send it directly to you, then
Okay.
you can make that change for them if you want.
I'll send it. I'll convert it to Word and send it to either Patrick or Isabel, whoever you want to get it.
Okay.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Carol.
No problem.
Who should I send it to? Both of you? Why not?
Yeah, why not both? Please.
Electronics is cheap, right? Yeah.
Bob, do you want me to send this to you directly, or do you want to get it off the Secretary of State's website yourself?
Sorry, say again, please.
Do you want me to send this to you at your email, or do you?
Just that Bob at Expert Access would be fine. Hello? I lost you, Carol.
Is it expert dash?
Yes, Expert Access, yes.
That's what I thought.
Actually, it's the same address you sent me the notifications.
But I'm working on my cell phone for
Okay,
this.
oh, you have a different computer, okay. It's the notification computer versus the PDF computer, I get it, okay.
So there we go.
Okay, let me check my no washer here.
All right, I'll send that off to you then.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Bob. Susan had a motion on the floor regarding communication to be sent to the Charter Review Commission. And I don't want to speak for you, Susan, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to propose that motion if you chose.
Okay, so the motion was that we send a communication to the Charter Review Commission that recommends that they allow the Housing Trust to acquire property with the approval of the town council rather than waiting for a town meeting.
Second.
Carol, by protocol, who should sign this letter?
Usually it's the chair. It can be the secretary or the chair, but it doesn't matter too much.
We have a motion on the table. Is there a second to that motion to recommend
Second,
to the Charter Review Commission?
second,
Claudia seconded. Okay. All of those in favor?
Aye.
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 Is there anyone opposed? Very good. Do we have a volunteer to pen such communication?
I can do that. Oh, I'm happy to do it, but who do I send it to?
Well, so perhaps Isabel,
They also have their own email, and that's all right on the homepage of the website.
Okay, I'll do
So
it.
if you send it to me, I'll get it right out to them.
Great.
thank you, Isabel. Moving on, item number 6 on this evening's agenda is our 2022 meeting dates. I had thought, and I have a list of those dates that was sent out by Heather Cook from the town hall some time ago. I don't know if anyone else has those dates or if there was confusion about that.
The reason why you were asked is because annually in the month of January, they're supposed to be posted on the Secretary of State's website. So
Okay.
when we didn't get an immediate response, we followed the formula that you were using for the meetings that you're doing now and just wrote those dates down. So if any of those are incorrect, we will have to just repost your annual posting.
So is it the second Wednesday of the month at 6?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine for me.
Good for me.
Okay. Well, that's what got posted then.
Great. So that's all set.
Thank you, Carol.
You're welcome.
Item number 7 on this evening's agenda is correspondence of any sort. I'm not sure if we have any. Hearing none, we'll move right along to citizen input. I don't know if there are any participants who have any input who are not members of the Housing Trust.
There's no one else here.
All right. Hearing no input, the final item on our agenda this evening is adjournment. If we have such a motion.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Bye.
Unanimous. Thank you very much, everyone. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Good night.